Nashville been in the news of late because of Land Air, the Land Air Business Park, as we're calling it, right?
Correct.
Big spec building, enormous building out there by Toledo Express, Brian. And you had a hand in economic development all throughout this region for a number of years. But tell us why this building is so important at this time to this region and yourself, too, as a developer here.
Well, this is a project that we've been involved with for about 25 years. We have partners. Gherkin Paving, Brent Gherkin is one of our strong partners. We're very blessed to have Brent because he had the financial wherewithal and the vision to allow us to undertake a spec building of this size. It's about 102,000 square feet. We have some other partners that were original residents. Some people know them because they had that classic pink convertible that sat on the site for years. And so now the site's getting a lot of recognition, and thanks to, quite frankly, your station, we've got some recent recognition. Yeah. I think what happened is a lot of people got surprised because this land sat vacant for so long, and now all of a sudden you've got this monster building that sits on the site, and there's a significant amount of earth-moving equipment because it's a 250-acre site.
Okay, and if you build it, and you hear that expression from the Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come, and that's what you're hoping. You built it, and you're hoping a permanent tenant eventually makes its way here, correct?
That's correct. We think this might be similar to what happened with the Overland project, where they had the vision to build a 100,000 square foot building. The port came in, cleaned up the site, put in all the infrastructure. We didn't have a lot of cleanup to do, but the infrastructure, which is the roads and the utilities, are all going in place. We were fortunate to get a grant from Jobs Ohio to help us with that. So things are well underway, and I think here in the next couple weeks and months, you'll see a substantially different site.
And we've seen not only in this region, Northwest Ohio, but central part of the state, spec buildings. The economy is such that it's okay to build these buildings now. You're going to have tenants eventually. You're banking on that, correct?
That's correct. And that's one of the strong things about having a spec building, because we have not had a spec building in this market for quite some time. We tried to look at other markets like Columbus and Cleveland and Detroit to see the caliber of building they're doing. So that's why we decided to do a building as tall as it is with the 36-foot high ceilings in it, because it gives us the ability to appeal to a lot more users that come to the market.
Jeff's guest later on in Touch, they talk about automation. And when you talk about one of these buildings that goes vertical and is so expansive, automation's all part of this, or certainly could be, could it not?
Yeah, certainly when you look at the people who are trying to build facilities that appeal to just-in-time and also the e-commerce business, when Walgreens completes their expansion out in 795, you'll get a better appreciation of what that is, because these conveyor systems go up in the air. We've learned that Amazon's coming to our market. They talk about a 2.3 million square foot building on a 700,000 square foot footprint. Well, the reality of that is that building's going to go 85 feet in the air, and it'll be full of conveyor systems.
You know, you mentioned Rossford and the crossroads of America, Brian McMahon. We met many years ago in the parking lot of a gas station over there at the crossroads area, 795, 2075, on a cold winter's day, and you emerged from your car, you opened up your trunk, and you rolled out plans. And it was kind of the plans for what the crossroads could be, and you had the airport linked in there too. So in terms of where we've come, and where we still have to go here, you were pretty ambitious with that plan, but a lot has happened since then, right?
It has. A lot of other people shared that vision. It wasn't, and as in the case of Land Air, it's not about me. It's about bringing other people together. And in the crossroads,
a ton of collaboration.
Oh yeah, a ton of collaboration. Little Rossford put together the crossroads and had the vision to do that. And now it probably has the largest concentration of retail space of any place in our market. And even though that wasn't originally envisioned to be the economic driver, between the real estate taxes and the sales taxes, it's done some pretty wonderful things for Wood County and Rossford.
Danbury has land adjacent to Fallen Timbers, the mall at Fallen Timbers, right? Why hasn't that area popped? The way, did the recession just put the brakes on everything out there, Brian?
Well, it's
one hotel, no more.
Well, you have a town center, Okay, and what happened there is you're bringing up what I call legacy projects that we've been involved with. This project goes way back, even further yet, maybe 35, 40 years ago, when we originally sold 1,200 acres of land to Don Scholes. Unfortunately, he ran into some financial problems, and that land reverted back to the landowners. And then about that time, if you recall, the city of Toledo came along, was trying to find a site for a Jeep plant, decided they didn't have enough land in Toledo to keep the tax base in Toledo, and so they proceeded to acquire all that land, and unfortunately they were not successful in annexing it, and the Jeep plant ended up being built on top of 3 landfills. That's what they had to do to keep it in Toledo. But now, some years later, our partner in Spring Meadows, Penny's, came to us and said, we have a new partner called General Growth, and we want to build this 2 million square foot mall. And so we sold them a site for that. Then along came another recession, another adjustment in the retail. That never got out of the ground because they lost some of their anchors. They did keep Penny's, they did keep Dillard's, and the Isaac family, who's another visionary in our community, bought 400 acres of land. We sold the center to General Growth and Penny's, and the Isaacs continue to own it. And now, ironically, that project is getting a lot of energy because it's probably the largest zone property in our market at probably the most underdeveloped interchange we have in our market, and probably the largest interchange with I-475 and 24.
Yeah, right for the picking there. And then you have the location off of 65 and the Waterville area, right? Waterville, White House, the connector there with the big Kroger store, and a lot of building going on out there. What about the Meijer? Because we keep hearing about the Meijer store. They would eventually move in. Kroger expanded, we thought, to compete with the Meijer store that would be coming in. Where's that stand? That's part of your property as well.
Well, it's part of property that we represent. The visionary there was Tom Schlachter, who bought 400 acres of land in a very challenged period of time. Along came Kroger to catalyze it, and Kroger is one of our more aggressive retailers, and that turned out to be a smart move for them. And actually, that's your neighborhood. Kroger got surprised and found out they did much better with that store than they thought they would. Very quickly expanded that store. That got Meijers' attention, and Meijers will buy stores, sites well in advance of actually building them. So Meijers came to the conclusion that that was a smart logistical place for them to be with their strategy in the market, so they bought the site, and I think sometime soon you'll see Meijers.
Are they term limited, for lack of a better term, fish or cut bait after a period of time, Brian?
Not really.
No?
You know, Meijers is a very big company, and they have a significant presence here. And when you look at their presence, this is the void they had, and so they had the good judgment to buy their position there while they could buy it.
Okay, good luck going forward here.
Thank you.
We could talk more, and we will in the future, talking about economic development. Brian McMahon, Danbury National, back on Conference Coverage right after this. Thanks, Brian.